Hey, what's up, folks? This is Eric with Success Over Stress. Today is January the 20th, 2024, and today we're going to do a little bit of scripting. We're going to be talking about loops and arrays, or maybe just loops. But so anyway, a loop is pretty much where you rerun a cycle, where you have an iteration, condition that needs to be, or formula that needs to be run and rerun, maybe until you get a certain result that you're looking for, or maybe until maybe just you needed to do some type of cumulative study or some type of cumulative expression that you need to just continue to do over and over. So we're going to use counters for that. And we're also going to use the loop statement, which it looks like that we have three here with TradeStation. We have the for statement, the while statement, and then there's the repeat statement, which seems like repeat is almost just like a basic loop, if you will. But they all have different syntax and they all require something different. So yesterday and today, I played around with using the loop statement. I've used it maybe once or twice in my coding career, but so I got a chance today and last night to work with it a little bit more and actually come up with some scripts that really needed it. Before I was maybe playing with it just to get an idea of how it works, but this time I really needed it. Also, I'm not sure if we talked much about arrays, but last night and yesterday I used an array as well in combination with the loop. So it made for a pretty decent output. So we're going to go over that today. Hopefully, or maybe you already know something about loops, arrays. If you don't, put a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. I'm not an expert on it, but I enjoy coding, and so if you have a question and I can seek out an answer, then it'll just make me a stronger coder. So with no further ado, we'll get right to it. Okay, so all right, so we just have a, well, let's use Tesla. Tesla's always fun. And then we're going to open the development environment, which is here. So I just started something called tutorial loop. And so we don't necessarily need all of this. I've learned some different things over the last couple of days. I'm always learning something new every day, which is what I love about this, because everybody loves a little bit of success. And when I learn something, that's success to me. I really enjoy learning something new. So even if it's something small, I enjoy it. All right, so one of the things that I learned over the course of the last day when I was having a little bit of trouble getting one of the scripts to work is, so here's one of the things I learned, which, if you are declaring anything or if you see any of these dashes to the side, then you can just click that and then it'll clean up your screen. It'll just remove everything on your screen. So if you have like all this down here, which I don't need at the time, and it's part of my template, but I don't necessarily want to delete it, I can just put it all in those squiggly brackets, right? So from beginning to end, and then I just click that, and then it all disappears. Isn't that great? That's great. So it's down there if I need it. Meanwhile, it's out of the way. I could do the same thing with this. I could put it in squiggly brackets, but I don't think that I could get rid of it all at one time. Otherwise, if I wanted to do that, if I wanted to do that, I have to put it on the same line. So it'd be something like that. I thought I could still put that on the same line. Okay, but that's fine. All right, so all right, let's just get into the loop. Let's get into one of the loops. So we need to come up with something for the loop to do. Loops are like, I don't know. They're like the computer, like a computer. I don't know. They are a workhorse, right? So if you need to run something over and over, then it'll do it. So let's do this. We're going to find out what the range on this is. No, that's not a good. a good idea. I was going to say we'll find out what the range on this is, and then we'll run a loop to find out if the range meets that criteria. Let's do an array first. So let's do an array. We're going to start by saying we're just going to take 1 day of Tesla, just so we don't have that much, or maybe we need to reduce it down to the number of bars, just so that we can get rid of extra data, because for illustration purposes, this is all we need. All right, so that'll essentially be bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. Okay, and then we can open up the print log. Yeah, I knew I had some stuff on here. I need to go and make sure that I have everything else off of my print screen. Otherwise, it will mess with our results. Nothing print there. Okay, print log, clear print log. We'll get that out of here. Print, that's muted out or commented out. We'll get rid of this one. Any other print? Nope, not there. Anything print here? Got a clear print log. Next, yep, got a lot of print stuff here. We'll just comment it out. Anything else? Okay. And then this one, yep, we'll mute that out. Okay, all right, so let's go and save all those. Okay, and then close those out. Just so they're out of the way. Okay, and again, remember, just like we said last time, if you look at the top of your tab and you see that asterisk right there, that means that you have not saved. You may have not verified, but you've definitely not saved what you've done. So we'll just make sure that's verified. Okay, let's go back to the screen and see if we have a clear print log. We're going to clear it. You just right click on the screen and then you hit clear. Then you go back in here. I have Shift R on my screen, so I'll use that, and then that'll clear. That'll refresh the screen. So we'll come back here, and then so what we're essentially going to do for this first one is we're going to just find out what the values are. We're going to find out what the range is for all of these. All right, so we're going to find out what the range is for all of these. So we'll use an array for that. So an array pretty much just allows you to capture more than one value in that same variable, and every bar can have a new variable, a new value, and it will be designated by whatever is in brackets, right? So we're just going to say range. Well, range is a reserved word, so we'll say bar range, and then we'll have to say how many are we looking to potentially store. We'll say 50 values. We'll close the brackets, and then we'll initialize all of them as 0, and then we'll hit that. And then so now one of the things I've learned is super important here in the last couple of days is whenever you're using a count function, like you see up here, I have all these counts. Whenever you're using a count function, don't take it lightly. Whenever you're using a count function, be sure as soon as you decide you're going to use one, go up here and do your continuation. Like if you're going to count every bar, go up here and do count plus 1. Make sure that you got it up there. Otherwise, it's going to screw everything up. And then when you go to the end of the script, and if you need to, now sometimes when you use a count, you're just going to count every single bar, and that's fine. But a lot of times you're going to reset the counter. So go ahead to the end and figure out how you're going to reset your counter and go ahead and assign that. Because if you don't assign that, well, I've run into a lot of instances where my counter, the logic of what I did and everything was great, but my counter is what actually messed me up. It either didn't count or it didn't reset. All right. So we're going to, do we need to count the bar? Yes, we need to count the bar because we need to put a number we need to designate what the bar range designation is going to be for the array. So count plus equals 1. Okay. And then we're going to say if count is greater than or equal to 1 and count is less than or equal to 50, then begin. Now, what is it going to be? Again, you can only go up to 50 using the array. If you try to go outside of 50, if you try to put something as bar range 51, it's going to kick it back. It's going to say that you're trying to use data outside the range or outside the bounds of the array or something like that. Okay, so if count is, now we can also use if count was 0, but as I understand, if you're using any of the TradeStation native functions for arrays, then all those functions start with the number 1. So instead of starting with the number 0, we're going to start with the number 1. And so technically, this array can hold 51 values. Okay? It can hold 1 through 50, and it can also hold value 0. But again, the native functions that do calculations and comparisons and additions and everything like that, standard deviations, they start using the number 1. Okay, so typically you're going to want to start using the number 1. Okay, so initially when we declare our variable, our count, and I might already have it at the top, but anyway, I'll put it here so you can see it. Count is going to start off at 0. As soon as we start our calculations, we're going to change that to 1. So then that becomes 1. Count becomes 1. And so we need to put a 1 right there. So if count is greater than or equal to 1, which it is, it's 1, and it's less than or equal to 50, then we begin. What do we begin? We're going to say bar range of the count, which right now it's 1, is going to equal the range. So the high minus the low. Okay. And that's pretty much all we're going to do with that one, right? So we're going to end that. And let's verify it. Yeah, I think we had already declared count. So we'll just get it back out right there. All right. So now we verified it. No issues. Very good. All right, we're going to come over here. And let's do something I haven't done yet. We're going to, what is this? Tutorial loop. Tutorial loop. Something like that. Down. Tutorial array. Tutorial timer. Tutorial array. Is that what I did? Tutorial Eric loop. It's not. Why would it be tutorial Eric? All right, so show me. And again, your show me's show up as dots or objects on your chart. Your indicators typically will show up as the lines. So your indicators will, your show me's will always be set to scale, will be set to the main graph. Your indicators can be set to the graph down here. I do not think that you can take a show me, which is natively set to the primary chart, and then move it down. I don't think you can do that. All right, so we need to go to tutorial Eric loop. Hit that. Hit OK. Hit OK. All right. I didn't know that it would pop up right here, though. I don't think that I'm aware of that popping up right there. I feel like, yep. I feel like that's on the scale below. So let's go to edit studies. Okay. Studies, tutorial Eric, tutorial array. Oh, that's the array. We're going to get rid of that one. Yeah, because the array was an indicator, and we're just looking at the loop, right? And again, the loop is a show me, which just shows on the chart. All right, so we got that. All right, so you don't see anything because we don't have it set to show you anything. All right, so let's set it to show you something. All right, so when we already went and did the array where for every time we have a new count, which we do here, so that's going to change with every bar. Okay, so new count number with every bar. Sequential bar. Okay, so every time we have a new bar, we're going to have a new count. Every time we have a new count, we're going to assign a new bar range on the array, which is just going to be the range, which is high minus low. So in this same area here, we can also say value 1 equals text new. You know what? I don't know if number to string. Can I do that? Because you have to put a string there at the end. You have to do the date, the time. You have to do the price. We're going to put the low. And then you have to put a string. So it'll be like hi. Okay. And then if we do that, it's going to say hi everywhere. Okay. This must have a max bars back setting of whatever this is, because now we're only getting it starting here. So this must be the first bar, essentially. Again, you got that max bars back stuff that just plays with your mind. All right, let me see if I can change that. Max bars back, user defined. See if we can get away with 0 for the max bars back setting. Nope. See if we can get away with 1. And no. All right, so, well, this is what we talked about the other day. Let's print and see what the max bars back setting is. Print that. So we got to go back here. Status customize. We'll put auto detect so it can detect for us. Okay, it says 23. So I don't know why it needs 23 bars. Oh, probably because of this. This is calling for 10. This is calling for 4. Let's take these out and see if we get a lower number. And we did. We got a number of 1. Very good. Very good. All right. So that would be the first. All right. So instead of high, we actually want to print on the screen what the range is, right? So instead of high, the range is, we can't put a value here. It has to be a string. So we have to do num to string. And then what is the number? And then how many decimal places are we going to go? The number is going to be high minus low, which is essentially what? Is essentially bar count. Bar count of the current, bar range of the current count to how many places. We'll say one decimal place. All right, study not verified. We got what did it not like? Okay, we have to close the parentheses for text new. Okay, that doesn't look right. I know the range of all these is not 1. 212 up to 213. And this one is, well, it's the entire range, 211 to 212. It's close to 1. Let's take it out to 2. That's not right. All right, so what do we have here? Why is it giving us the same number? Okay, so count. count is greater than or equal to 1 and count is less than 50 and begin. Bar range of count equals high minus low. Value text 1. Okay. Bar range of count. And that's why these things are so valuable, because they're not just like value 1 equals 7. I mean, you have to work several pieces. Like I said, one of them is the count, which we don't need to reset the count. So we're adding a new one to every count. Bar range of 50 of 0. Count is greater than or equal to 1 and count is less than 50, then begin. Bar range of the count is equal to, for that bar, high minus low. A1 text. Date, time, low, number string, which is bar range of count. 2 decimal places. Now here I go, getting back. Well, and again, like I said, I've messed with an array a couple of times, and I've obviously not got it down super tight, but I will. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to print the count, because the count will tell us once we're going to clear the print log. And this is also how you figure out what your problems are. And so instead of printing max bars back, we're going to print the count. Okay, so the count is counting up, so that's right, because some of the times you won't get the right count. So if count is greater than or equal to 1, then begin. We know that it's going into the begin cycle because it is printing the text. It's printing some text, right? And just not printing the right text. So let's do this. Instead of printing the count, we're going to print the bar range of the count. And all of those are coming out as 1. Bar range of all of them is coming out as 1. How does that make sense? Okay, usually about this point is when I start getting rid of extra information. Count is greater than or equal to 1. I feel like it's not assigning. Or is it the high-low part? Is it something wrong with the high-low? Let's see. Let's just call this 857. Yep. It changed to 857. All of them changed to 857. So I feel like this high minus the low is maybe the first one was 1, and then everyone after that was calculated as 1. So why isn't... Well, try one more thing. Let's see what high is and then low is. Is that right? The range of all these is actually 1? The range of all these is actually 1. That's stupid. What? A high of 213.18, a low of 218.18. A high of 213.19, a low of 212.19. Even on this one with the bottom wick. A high of 212.33, a low of 211.33. All of these do have a range of just 1. That's crazy. I thought I was losing it. I thought I had done something wrong. Wow. Okay. Well, let's look at something less manipulated. Let's look at, there's nothing less manipulated. Everything is manipulated. Let's look at, I don't know why that's on my brain, but let's look at DWAC. Okay. You know what? You know what, guys? Aha. I am on a tick chart. Somehow when I open a new chart, it's on a 1 tick chart for whatever reason. But that's still weird though. So I've never looked at a 1 tick chart. I don't know why I would start on this, but for a 1 tick chart, we're saying that it opens like the whole range for the buy sale is 1. I don't even know how to wrap my head around that. So I won't. Not right now. Not right now. That's way too deep. All right, so we're going to put it on the 1 minute chart. Okay. So on the 1 minute chart, what's happened now, why it disappeared, is because now it's gone 10 days back. We just went on the first day. And again, we only set this to record for like 50 things anyway. So they're all going to be back here. All right, so let's put this on the 5 minute time frame. And then we're just going to do it on 1 day. And then that way, again, we can see all of our values. Okay. All right. Yeah. Man, I'm like, here I am doing a tutorial and this stuff ain't working. But this is part of the entire spectrum of trading, definitely coding, which is the devil's in the details, right? The good thing about scripting and writing code and that kind of thing is that once you set it, it's there. There's no fudging it. There's no maybe. Once you set it, it's there. That's also the bad thing, because sometimes the market changes or sometimes things change, which, if you do a walk forward optimization, or if you do a walk forward analysis, or if you even do a back testing, performance reports, all that kind of stuff, you may have an idea of what you're up against. But yeah, sometimes things change and your script may not reflect those nuances. So instead of spending 4 hours changing, tweaking stuff, a discretionary trader would just go, it's good enough. It's so it's the gift and the curse. It's the gift and the curse. All right, but so here are the ranges that we have for all these, right? So on this, it's not essentially the first bar. Again, when you're counting using the max bars back, you had to have at least 1 bar. All right, so this was the first one that we're calculating. All right, so that range is 0.87. This range is 0.60. This range is 0.24, 0.35, right? So now you see all the ranges, right? So now we're going to make it a little bit more complex, and we're going to pick one of these ranges, and we see this right here. I think the bar number for this one for 1130 will be, I don't know what it is. Let's see what the bar number for 1130 is. Okay, so we're going to say if time equals 1130, then print bar number. Okay, so the bar number for 1130 is 23. This bar number is 23. Okay. All right, so with that bar number being 23, what we're going to do is we're going to run a loop. And so again, like the loop, well, no. I was going to run a loop to find. Yeah. So for this array, you could save 1,000 of these values, right? If at 1330, whatever this condition happened to be, condition is perfect to find which previous bar had range of 0.51. Looks like it happened 2 times. So there's a range here of 0.51 and there's a range here of 0.51, which is interesting because this is the top of the move and this is the bottom of the move. And in the middle you have, even down here, you got a 0.49, 0.53. Okay, it's that kind of stuff that I look for. It is. All right, so if the condition is perfect to find a previous bar which had a range of 0.51, then how do we find that? And honestly, I don't know what we're going to come up with because we have 2. So we want to find the bar number that had 0.51. So we could do that 2 ways. One way is we could say, what's the recent occurrence? So we could say recent occurrence. So we'll say, again, if we're at 1330, that time, if time equals 1330, then I think I can do it this way. Recent occurrence, test length instance flag. So the test is range equals 0.51 test length. Length. This is the problem. Length. How many bars back do you want to go? Because the array will just keep saving them all and you can just go back through your array. But with recent occurrence, now you have to set, all right, I wanted to check this number of bars because I don't know how many bars ago. So we'll just say 100 bars back. If it'll let us do that, because that bar number was only like 23. So if the range is 0.51, 100 bars back, test length, instance flag. Okay. Then we'll say value 1 equals recent occurrence of that. Gonna verify that. I feel like it should not have gotten rid of that stuff. So let's do that. Time equals 1330. Oh, did I use value 1 already? No, I have not. If time equals 1330, then value 1 equals recent occurrence range. Yeah, you know what? I'm betting that's got an issue because of the range. But it doesn't pop up. It doesn't give me any errors. But it's also not seeming to work. Time is 1330. Then value 1 equals. Make sure I have everything in there. Test length instance flag. Yep. Test length instance flag. Well, let's see. If time is 13:30, then we're going to print value 1. It says -1. It says it didn't find anything. Yeah, I think it has something to do with this number. So we'll say that I don't know how many bars are on here. At 13 by 13:30, we're saying that there are. This will give us the number of bars. 47 bars. So we'll go back 40 bars. I was going to say, I hope that's not the issue. Oh, that's on here. Huh, interesting. So now it started. Oh, well, that's what was happening. I think when we added this, because now we're looking back 40 bars. When we added this, now we're changing the max bars back. Whereas before, the max bars back was only 1 because it only needed to be able to look back just 1 bar. Just look back 1 bar. Now it needs to be able to look back at least 40 bars. So now calculations don't start until you get 40 bars out. That's what happened. The max bars back setting changed when we changed this to 100. Now, technically, I don't even think we have 100 values on the chart. Nope. So if we change this to, I don't know, 70, then it might be in there. Yeah, right? So you see it shows up now. All right, so, and for that reason, we probably don't want to use the recent occurrence because it's not going to find it. That sucks. Well, it'll still keep if we just set this as, if we set it like this, then it's going to look every single bar. Okay, so we're going to set it back 1. We're going to say look back 3 bars. Okay, and then now we're just going to print them all. So when it gets around this number, when it gets around 11:30, then it should print. When it gets around, 11:40, it should print that. Okay, so we're going to say if time is, we'll start at 11:30. If time is 11:30 or greater than or equal to 11:30, so keep printing, then print value 1. I didn't find it. That's peculiar. You know what? It's probably because this range is not perfectly 0.51. It's probably like 0.51, 8, 10, 17, something. No, it's 0.51 on the dot. Uh, 0.51. Okay, so let's make sure I have the right test length instance flag. Test length instance flag. Time is greater than or equal to 13:30, then print what value 1 is. Because it should compute it every time. Well, that's the problem. And I hate TradeStation for this. They should tell you when you're using a value multiple times. I'm gonna make this value 2. Value 2. That wasn't it. No, but there's something about using a value multiple times that will throw TradeStation off. There is something about that. All right. Let's see. And I know I have value 1 up in here somewhere, but I think no, maybe we deleted it. Okay. All right. So time is greater than or equal to 1330, then print value 2, which is recent occurrence of. Let's just say that the range is greater than or equal to 0.51. Okay, there we go. All right, so we don't know where that is. That time should be 1330, but let's print the time as well. Okay, so if the time is 1330, then it's not 1330. Ah, that's your problem there, Buster. All right, so 1130. 1130. All right, so at 1130, we did find 1130 2 bars ago. That should be coming up at 1140. 1140, you should have found this at 2 bars ago. And then again at 1230. 1225. At 1220, you found it 1 bar ago. Unless this is offset. Is this offset by 1? What's that calculation there? Open to close. Oh, yeah, that's offset by 1, right? It's got to be. Because no, wait a minute. The high is 27.41 and the low is 26.90. So that's a difference of 51 cents. So this is right. This would be wrong. Greater than or equal to. All right, so at 1130, we got 0. 1135, we have 1, right? 1135, we found it, and it was 1 ago. 1140, we found it was 2 ago. And at 1145, now we're greater than 3 bars out. I guess not including the bar. Test. Length, instance flag, length. Okay. Okay. Yeah, looks like recent occurrence includes the bar of which you are working with. 1130, you found it at 0 bar. 1135, you found it at 1 bar ago. 1140, you found it at 2 bars ago. That's your 3 bars. Then 1145, it says 0. Oh, because it's greater than or equal to. And what happens if I do that? Yeah, so apparently. Okay, there we go. 1135 is 1. That's 2. Okay, and then 1145, since it's not within that 3 bar range, 1145, this returns -1. That's right. Okay, we're good to go. All right, and again, recent occurrence will return -1 if it doesn't find anything. Returns negative, well, 1 if nothing found. Okay, so that's good to note, right? That recent occurrence range or length includes current bar, because I don't think I was aware of that. All right, so now, like I said, that's one way to find out how many bars ago something happened. But now the other way to find out how many bars ago something happened is what? Is using that array. Okay, so if we get to 13, and especially if you're doing a lot of data and stuff like that, that right there was cumbersome even to put together, and it's still, I mean, you're chopping it up. You're trying to find 1 or 2 or 3 bars at a time, or how many ever bars. You got to guess how many bars to go. But for the array, we can just search the entire array. Now, I just did this today, so this is a little fresh for me. So it might take me a little while to get through it, but I will get through it. All right. So count, we don't need to reset just because of what we're doing. But we're gonna do a loop, and we're gonna check every one of the loop, and then we can return the bar number, I think. We have to take it a step further. Make it a little bit more complicated. For each bar, we can look for the range, and we can look for the bar number, and we can look for the high, and we can look for the low, and we can look for the volume, and we can look for a bunch of things. We can have an array that's so huge. But for this one, we only have one value, which is the range. We need one more. We need the bar number. So we need, how do we have to set this up? We need, because arrays is pretty much like a column of values, so it's going down. Now for every line or bar going down, we have one data point, which is the range. Now we need another data point on that second one. So we just need two columns. We got a bunch of different rows. Every column is going to give us a bunch of rows going down. Now we need a second column. Okay. So everything is going to be initialized at 0. Okay. And the count of the first row is going to be the high minus low. That is your range. Bar range. The count of your second row is going to be your bar number. Wasn't that complicated at all? All right, so now, again, when we get to bar 1330, now we have a problem. We need to find out which bars had a value of 0.51. So we'll say if time, that's why we're at 1330. If time equals 1330, then we're going to go back through those arrays. So we need to make a loop. Then begin for, and like I said, you can do a while loop, a for loop, or a repeat loop. And I don't know, I haven't played with them enough to know which one is the best, most versatile, has the best utility. I know the while loop, you continue to use it. You continue to use it while something is true. And then you need it to be false in order for it to get out of the loop. So that's going to be the one that's probably less useful, because if it never is false, you're going to stay in that loop and your computer's just going to keep spinning, baby. All right, so we probably don't need the while. We can use either the for or the repeat. I've used the repeat before, but it looks okay. But we'll use the for. So for count, that's the variable, equals 1 to 50. So we're going to go through every single one of those values in the array. And somebody may say, hey man, well, that's going to use up a lot of processing power. It might. There's probably a better way to do it. I don't know what it is. So for now, I'm going to do this. Okay, so for count is 1 through 50. 150. We're going to begin what are we going to do? We're going to search for a range of 0.51. And what is the range? The range is this one. Count with 1. Count with that first column. If bar range count 1 equals 0.51, then we're going to say then condition 1 equals true. Because, I mean, it equals true. I mean, it's true. Okay. If the bar range of count 0.51, then condition 1 equals true. We'll say if condition. Now, I don't know how to find them both, but I can find one of them. If condition equals false, then repeat. I think I do repeat here. Then no, I don't. If condition 1 is false, say if time is equal to 13:30. Oh, I could do this. Well, I gotta find a better way to do it, because I could print them on the screen. If bar range count equals 0.51, then condition 1 equals true. If condition 1, I probably need to set this up to go into another array to save those values, but I'll do it this way first, or I'll do it this way. If condition 1 equals true, then value 7 equals text new bar, let's see, date, time. We're going to put it to low, and we're going to say, we're just going to say, we want the bar number, num2. Like I said, this isn't a problem that I have, so I don't really know how to create the problem to say where I want to put it at. So right now I'm just trying to come up with somewhere to put it. So we're going to say number to string of what number? The number is going to be the bar number. The bar number is going to be what? Bar range count 2. Bar range count 2. And it's going to be to 2 decimal places. 0 decimal places, because this is going to be a bar number, so it's not going to have any decimal places. All right, so we're going to close that. We're going to close the text. All right. If condition is equal to true, then we're going to do that. And then it's just going to end. And so it's just going to continue to, so the for loop, as long as count is between 1 and 50, it's just going to continue going from here to here. It's going to come here and then run that. It's going to go here and then run that. It's going to go here and run that. And then when count gets to 50, it's going to stop. Okay. Like I said, my only problem is that I need it to give me both values, but I'll probably have to think about that and come to you in another video and figure out let you know how I solve that problem. Because right now I'm pretty sure it's going to print, it's going to superimpose both those bar numbers in the same area, in the same text area. So we're going to hit verify, comma. Where do you want a comma at? Image string right there. Count. Oh, because we added a new dimension. I think they call it dimensions. Since we added a new dimension to the array, now this has to be 1. You have to account for both dimensions, the first dimension and the second dimension. As I understand, an array can have up to 100 dimensions. So go figure. All right, so if bar range, then condition 1 equals true. Unknown identifier is because I didn't spell it right. Okay, word then, if time equals 11:30. We actually don't need this right now because word in was expected. So we go back up here. Wait a minute. All that is muted out. Okay. Begin, end, time, then begin, end. Oh. Okay. So now we go over here, and you see now here the time is 13:30. It tried to, well, 1, I think it printed the actual bar range number, and then 2, it's going to try to print both of those values that it found. See if we can zoom in enough to, no, we can't. Okay. For 1, like I said, the ranges were put at the low, so I should at least put these 2 at the top. Okay, and again, because there's 2 bar numbers there, or at least 2, I saw 2.51s, then both those numbers there. So let's do, how can I make that different? Like I said, I know I can use an array inside of that loop and then kick it out and then put it somewhere else, but I don't want to go all through that right now. All right, so if condition 1 equals true, then value 7 equals text date. For count 1 to 50. And I don't know how I can get out of the array sooner than I don't know how I can get out of an array. Like you said, I mean, if we find the iteration that we want, then to be able to get out sooner than instead of completing all of them. I don't know of any way that I can do that. Like once we find the first iteration. So let me think about this for a second. Well, 2 things here. I didn't restart my counter. That's the first thing. I mean, I think I have to. But it seemed to go through a process, or maybe that's why this is so illegible. Because for count 1 to 50, we don't even know what count it's on when it gets to 1330. So we need to say if time is 1330, then begin. Count equals 1. We want to start with count equals 1. And then when we get to the end, time equals 1330. Well, we can reset it to 0 when we get done. Or reset it to what it was a bar ago. I think we can do that, even though we use it in the array. Okay, so count equals 1, and then also while we're in the loop, we need to add a new value to it. So it came in, count came into the loop. I'm sorry, the loop. Count came into the loop as being 1. And then once it used it here, now we get to the end and we want to add another 1 to it. So then the next one that it's looking at is 2. Okay. Now when we verify that, see, that looks better than what it was. I still don't know what that number is. Oh, but you know what? That's not a bad idea either. Because these are not locked, right? So you've probably seen me do some other scripts where I always lock my objects so that you cannot drag them around, right? I always lock them. These are not locked. So we can drag that and drag that and drag that. What's going on here? I'm gonna refresh this. Because there weren't that many times when 51 happened. Saying bar 23, bar 25, bar 20. Is it literally just going to go through every single bar? That's a lot of bars. It's saying that 0.51 was true on bar 29, 47, 31, 35, 27, 25, 39, 23, 37, 41, 43, 45. Not 46. Not 30. Okay. I think that was bar 23 there. All right. All right. So we know that the range is calculating correctly. Count 1. We see that the bar number. You know what? Oh no. Okay. Like I said, sometimes with those bar numbers, you have to add max bars back and do all that kind of stuff. Not sure if that's the case this time. But something is awry here. So if time is 1330, then we're going to begin. We're going to turn count back to equal to 1 so we can use it for the array, for the loop to tap into the array. And so then we're going to say count is 1, going to 50. We're going to look at bar range count of 1, which is our range. And if it equals 0.51, then condition 1 equals true. I know what it is. Conditions are funny, man. I have to drilling it into my head. When a condition turns true, it will stay true until you make it false, or until something tells it to be false. I mean, you think of it, well, I guess it's like a light switch. You turn the light on and it'll stay on till you turn it off. It's like a toggle. I feel like it should be one of those things where it's like, it's a light switch. It's a door with a spring on it. So once you open the door, it's open, it's true. And then as soon as you let go of it, it's false. It's closed. It's not how it is. When you open the door stays open. So once we found this, now the condition stays true. So we need to turn it off. Or just say else condition 1 equals false. Okay, now when we go back over, now we only have two numbers, 23 and 33, baby. Yes. I tell you, I'm always learning a little something. Those conditions, though, they'll get you. They get me every time. They'll get you. All right, so, yep, so we got bar 23 and we got bar 33. Okay, so if you needed to use that in your script somewhere, you'd return that. Like I said, you would, instead of printing it to a text, you might assign that to here. So you assign value 7 to what you're looking for. All right. And once you assign it, now I'm going to tell you two things. One, and this is why you use an array, right? Because if you could take two values for value 7, then you could capture both bar 23 and that other bar. But since you can only capture one bar for value 7, by the time this array is done, it's gonna overwrite this 23 bar with that other bar. So watch this. We're gonna, if time is 1330, then we're gonna print time and we're gonna print value 7. Equals 1330. Okay, you see, at time 1330, it printed 33. All right, but what if we just wanted that first iteration? What if we wanted that first time that it hit? And that's what I was trying to think of. It's if condition 1 equals true, then value 7 equals bar range. Oh, this is what I was thinking of, right? So this is a little trickery. And this is why it reminded me that I didn't do my counts. Again, guys, do your counts. When you're doing arrays and loops, do your counts. And add your counts. Add your counts up above and then reset your counts down below, right? So I want to say that if condition 1 equals true, and we get it that first time, then we're gonna do two statements. So we got to use a begin. Then begin, we're gonna use that, and then also we're gonna say that count equals 50, right? And why did we do that? Why did we do that? For this specific situation, when we want to exit the loop, if count equals 50, it hits end, and then it goes back to the beginning. Well, now count is 50. So I guess technically it'll run one more time. So maybe we should do it as 51. I feel like then it's going to, yeah, 51 will work. Okay. All right. So watch this. So now it should only capture that first iteration of being true, capture that bar 23, return that bar 23 to our value 7, and then spit out value 7 on the print function right here. Boom. Boom. I got magic fingers, man. I got magic fingers. I mean, Yeah, I enjoy this. You see the smile? I mean, this is a real smile. This is a real smile. I enjoy this. Okay, all right. So I actually have to go now. Probably should have finished up about 15-20 minutes ago. But yeah, you guys have fun with your scripting, with your coding. Make some loops, make some arrays. And like I said, you probably want to stay away from the while loop, but the for loop and the repeat loop are both, fair game. When you're doing your arrays, again, you can have multiple dimensions. Every dimension has to be declared with how many values that it needs to have. Yeah. So, and then you'll declare what type it is. And I thought at one time that I could have, and maybe you can't, I think I saw something about dynamic arrays. Dynamic arrays are not currently supported on TradeStation, as I understand, where you can change the number of variables or value dimensions in the array, that kind of a thing. Not currently supported, but the what was I going to say? The values that you have here, it's got to be of one type. So this type here is an integer type. This type is a numeric type, right? You can do strings where you're just saving words, right? Where you're just saving words. All these will just be words. You can have Boolean, so true, false. You can have integer, so numeric, or you can have the strings. You can't mix and match. I thought I could mix and match. So I was going to save like the range here, and I was going to save a word here, and I was going to say you can't mix and match. At least as I understand. Now, if I'm wrong, be sure to let me know. All right, but yeah, have fun with your loops and arrays. Okay, guys, this has been fun. It's been real. We've got some things accomplished. Now, take this little bit, get your juices flowing, and come up with something good. All right, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.